In this video, I'm going to address task 3. I will critique my own reflective practice to effectively enable progression, action research, critical evaluation, and action planning. This should cover learning objective 3, and based on the work of Kolb, Boud, and Gibbs, I will demonstrate the application of the reflective cycles through creating my own personal models that encompasses my own creative practice, and also display engagement with each stage. So how has reflection as a whole helped me? Reflective practice has played a large part in my growth as a filmmaker. By utilising the reflective cycles of Kolb, Boud, and Gibbs, I have been able to gain insights into my previous work, and have learned lessons that have brought on my own professional development by allowing me to identify strengths and areas for improvement. For example, during the development of Vanguard, reflective practices allowed me to identify and overcome any issues we've had on and off set, such as the late arrival of props and costumes, and the lack of coverage as a result of that. By reflecting on these issues, I was able to identify the problem and come up with a strategy that I can take forward into the next project. This will minimise or prevent the issue from happening again. An example of this would be the implementation of more planning in the pre-production phase. By implementing my own reflective cycle, not only has it allowed me to improve upon my technical skills, but project management as a whole. Furthermore, I have since been able to adopt a growth mindset that allows for learning and adaptation, ensuring that each project benefits from the lessons learned from the previous ones. I'm going to show you how I used each of the 3 reflective cycles during my time conducting my own reflective practice. So let's begin. So, Kolb's reflective cycle includes 4 stages: concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. Kolb's reflective cycle actively encourages seeking out experiences. Therefore, it became the perfect model to utilize when reflecting on my own experience meeting Damon for the first time at the Acting on Screen workshop, which resulted in me securing a professional crew to film my own project. So let's go through each of the stages. Stage 1, concrete experience. In this example, the concrete experience would be me recapping what happened on the Acting on Screen workshop, me meeting Damon, completing running jobs, and talking to him about film over lunch. Stage 2, reflective observation. This stage would include the practical experience I gained from working on a professional set, learning different workflows and best practices that I could apply to my own projects. Stage 3, abstract realization. The abstract realization would be me finding out that the footage wasn't actually getting edited, and realizing there was an opportunity to demonstrate my editorial skills to an industry professional, being Damon. Therefore, I offered to edit the footage for him. Stage 4, active experimentation. And finally, the active experimentation would be applying what I'd learned on set to the footage I was going to edit for Damon. For example, I learned how to shoot on slates, and was told by the camera op that it would benefit me in the edit. Now, I hadn't done this before and got the opportunity to experiment with different slates, applying the knowledge that I'd learned to the cut. Furthermore, I experimented with the footage by looking at the larger context of what the videos were for. In this case, it was educational purposes, and applying the knowledge that I'd learned, making extra videos with deliberate continuity errors to give real examples to the students on how different on-screen acting is to theatre acting. So let's move on to Gibbs. The Gibbs cycle is another reflective model used to guide you through the reflection process. It consists of 6 stages: description, feelings and evaluation, analysis, conclusion, and action plan. Each stage prompts individuals to explore different aspects of their own experiences and derive meaningful lessons for their personal and professional growth. So here is an example of how I use the Gibbs reflective cycle. Stage 1, description. During the production of my short film Vanguard, we encountered a major issue when the costumes didn't arrive on time. This ended up delaying the shoot and putting a huge amount of pressure on both myself and my team. Stage 2, feelings. I originally felt frustrated and stressed about the delay, and was worried about the impact it would have on the production and even the film as a whole. Stage 3, evaluation. Despite the setback, the situation provided an opportunity to demonstrate my adaptability and quick thinking skills when under pressure, which would make me look more capable and in control in front of more experienced crew. However, it also highlighted the need for contingency plans and communication to help prevent this in the future. By reflecting on the situation with a level head, I was able to identify the need for more pre-production planning and was also able to utilise what we had by shooting scenes that didn't have the main cast in it. This was to make the most of the time that we did have. Additionally, I do recognise the importance of being flexible when faced with an unforeseen problem. Stage 5. Conclusion. Looking back at the situation with hindsight, the setback served as a valuable learning opportunity that highlighted the need for effective pre-production planning, communication, and adaptability in filmmaking. I'm going to take the lessons that I've learned from this experience into future projects to ensure that the production process runs a lot smoother the next time around. Stage 6. Action plan. In response to this experience, I plan on implementing my own contingency plans into future projects, including things like backup options for resources like costumes, and also developing clear communication with the supplier of such resources to ensure everything gets delivered on time, or at least have planned enough in advance that if something did go wrong, we'd have time to address it. Now on to the third reflective cycle, BOOD. BOOD's reflective cycle offers a straightforward and effective framework for analysing and learning from experiences. This cycle offers 3 distinct stages: experience, reflection, and learning. I believe that BOOD's model offers a clear structure for reflection that is both simple and impactful. I like BOOD's method more so than the other two due to its simplicity, as it allows me to work through my experiences in a quick, systematic way. Here's an example of how I've been using BOOD's reflective cycle during the production of Vanguard. Stage 1. Experience. During the production of Vanguard, we had a serious issue in gathering sufficient coverage for the final scene. This is due to costume delays putting us behind schedule and resulted in limited time to capture the footage. As a direct result of the lack of coverage, I found myself facing a difficult challenge in the edit, as it restricted my options when creating the scene and maintaining the narrative. Stage 2. Reflection. Upon reflecting on this experience, I realised the critical importance of getting enough coverage for the film and the impact that pre-production has on the later stages of the filming process. During pre-production, if I had allocated even 1 extra day to shooting, I would have been able to get the sufficient amount of coverage I needed for the final scene, and I wouldn't have been stuck in the edit with a shot that I was unable to cut away from. However, by taking a wide shot and digitally punching in, I was able to resolve this issue. The entire experience prompted me to look further into the concept of getting more coverage, and also how to better plan in the pre-production phases of the project. Stage 3. Learning. I have learned valuable lessons from this experience and intend to take them with me when going forward into another project. I have learned and now understand the value of allocating enough time to each phase of a production, and the overall impact coverage can have on a film, particularly in the post-production process. By integrating these insights into my creative practice, I'm able to enhance my effectiveness as a filmmaker. By utilising the reflective models of Kolb, Bood, and Gibbs, I was able to create my own reflective cycle, based on the type of work that I do, and my own unique way of learning. My own personal reflective cycle has 4 stages, and they are as follows: engage, reflect, adapt, apply. I will take you through each of these stages, explaining my choice for each of them. Step 1. Engage. I often learn best when engaging in tasks and discussions, and generally just experiencing things with a hands-on approach. This step allows me to fully immerse myself in a task and get as much information about the situation down on paper, setting the full context for a problem or situation. It's similar to Bood's experience stage, but catered towards the type of things I will be reflecting on as a creative. Step 2. Reflect. Once the task, situation or challenge has been explained, write down what went well and also what could be improved. So essentially it's the positives and negatives of a situation. And after this, write down what insights you've gained as a result. Step 3. Adapt. Based on those reflections, identify what changes you could have made or can still make to improve your approach next time. Alongside this, think about what you can do now if you're still in the situation or facing the challenge. I'll use the lack of coverage scenario that I faced on my production as an example for this. By reflecting on the importance of coverage and researching what coverage actually was, I had the idea to digitally punch in on a wide shot to give off the illusion of a mid and close-up, which ended up resolving my issue. Step 4. Apply. Once you have identified those insights or a solution to the problem, apply them to the current one or the next project you'll be working on. Take the lessons you've learned with you onto the next project in order to minimize you making those mistakes again. When crafting this reflective cycle, I wanted to cater towards my own specific experiences, alongside the insights gathered from the original reflective models. By combining elements of Bood, Kolb and Gibbs's reflective cycles with my own creative process, I managed to create a reflective cycle tailor-made to the way that I work, which has improved upon my creative practice as a whole. It allows me to fully engage in practical experiences, reflect meaningfully on challenges and mistakes, and adapt to those same challenges, all the while applying those lessons that I've learned to future projects. This reflective cycle isn't just a formula, it's a dynamic tool that evolves with me with every experience.